All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Halloween show. This is episode 57. It is Friday, November 12th, 2021. Hope you're all doing well tonight. I want to thank you for joining me. My name is Matt Arts. I'm with Halloween Daily News, and we are going to go over the week's headlines tonight. Also, a little bit later on in the show, going to be world premiering a clip from Haunted Screams Expo and a Q&A with Mr. David Howard Thornton of Terrifier and Terrifier 2. Also going to be talking a little bit about our recent interview with the very talented and very awesome Rachel Hoffpower, who is, of course, Judy Greer's stunt double in Halloween Kills. And but before we get to any of that, we are going to jump into the headlines this week because there is some news going on. So let's get into that right now. I see Art has checked in with some fired up pumpkins. I love seeing that. Again, I want to thank you all for joining me tonight. We are going to go over each news item and then we'll pause and take some comments from the live chat room as we go along. And then, of course, I'll be taking some more comments at the end of the show. But we do have a lot lined up. Also, after we, towards the end of the show, I'm going to be announcing our next exclusive interview. It's with another Halloween Kills cast member, actually. And so that's all coming up later on. But first, let's get to this week's Hallow headlines. Starting with some news, some unexpected news, some welcome surprise news that Spirit Halloween actually released 2 new animatronics in the last 2 weeks. They're actually re-releases of older animatronics, and but this is kind of rare. Normally when Spirit closes up their physical shops right after October 31st, there's not really much new stuff released. But last year there was a new animatronic released in November. There was even a new Sam pop figure, officially licensed from Trick or Treat, that was released post-October last year as well. So this is very interesting new strategy for Spirit, kind of extend their season a little bit. And I don't have a problem with that because every day is Halloween. But here are the animatronics that they re-released in the last 12 days. Check it out. Spirit Halloween surprised everyone by releasing a post-October animatronic back in November of 2020, and now they've done it again, twice actually, unveiling 2 more 2021 animatronics, both re-releases from years prior. Each of these 2021 re-releases is available to purchase online only, as of course all physical Spirit Halloween stores are currently closed until next year. Originally released in 2013, the 4.8-foot hanging bloody bag of jokes animatronic is back, featuring 3 different phrases and a twisting back and forth motion with light-up LED eyes. His official story, according to Spirit, is as follows, quote, "After years and years of a failed career in stand-up comedy, Joe the Jokester just couldn't take it anymore. Willing to die for just the teeniest ounce of attention, he promised himself that his last stand-up routine will be the one the crowd will never forget. Now, instead of telling innocent jokes, he finds laughter in pain and puts his body through intense and gruesome torture just to gain an audience. No one has seen what he looks like ever since he's entered the bag, just what has become of him and his comedy routine as a result. You don't want to be the lone guest at this comedy show, or you might just get hit with a killer punchline." Bloody Bag of Jokes is available to order online at spirithalloween.com right now for $180. Here he is in action.
Say, how about getting me a drink? I get really thirsty just hanging around like this. How about a Bloody Mary with a long, long, twisty straw? Hey, what do you think you're doing? Walking in here upside down like that? Isn't all the blood rushing to your feet?
Originally released in 2014, the 2-foot Little Nestor swinging animatronic is also back, featuring 2 different phrases while he swings back and forth, staring at you through his creepy pumpkin skull face with light-up LED eyes. His story, according to Spirit, is as follows, quote, Lil Nestor just wanted a friend to play with. For years and years, each night, he patiently sat there swinging back and forth, waiting for anyone to come by and give him a push. After no luck of anyone showing up, Lil Nestor ended up stuck there waiting for eternity. Now his only friends are the undead. And although you can't see them, you'll know once they're out to play by their screams and their terrifying cackles. Now, each cold, foggy night, Mr. Nestor and his new friends wait together for the next unsuspecting child to play on the swing and join their lifelong undead friend group. Lil Nestor is in stock now and available to order online at spirithalloween.com, priced at $150. Let's see him in action.
Hi, won't you play with me? Mother always said it was okay to play with dead things. Please stay. My friends will be here soon. And then we can play together forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever.
Both of these animatronic re-releases are available to order online right now at spirithalloween.com, and you can learn more right now at halloweendailynews.com. All right, once again, not exactly the norm here, but becoming the norm, I guess, after last year, Spirit extending the Halloween season. I'm interested to see if there's going to be some other releases in the coming weeks. But while you guys are here, I see Larry and Jennifer have checked in now, and Anthony and Chad is here. Fall Guy is here. Art, of course. Great to see all you guys, some of our regular viewers checking in. Thanks again for joining me tonight. We got some fun news items to talk about. Like I said, I'm going to be premiering a clip with David Howard Thornton, talking a little bit about playing Art the Clown in just a little while, so stick around for that. Getting into continuing the news items, well, first, you guys go ahead and comment on those animatronics. What do you think? I mean, the Bloody Bag of Jokes, clearly kind of a generic version of the Joker. And that Lil Nestor, he's I do like that head sculpt on there. It's a little generic though, but they are favorites. They are popular from years past, and they were teased in Spirit's early marketing. It was very cryptic. We did breakdowns of all of Spirit's marketing leading up to this past Halloween season, but very interesting that they're releasing them at this late date. We do have some Michael Myers news. Now, some of this I talked about on Monday night, but since then, we've gotten some more confirmation about the release of the Halloween Kills extended cut. This is, of course, David Gordon Green talked about this in an interview a few weeks ago and said that there would be an extra scene added at the end of the film when it arrives on DVD, Blu-ray, and so forth. And then we talked on Monday night already that when we talked about the Halloween novelization. I've got it here. We talked about this a bit this past Monday night and some of the revelations in there and interesting Easter eggs in that novelization, one of which is that extended scene. And I'm not going to describe the whole thing for you right now. It's in there. But it is very interesting that it was cut. And I do think that part of that reason is because certain aspects of the script of Halloween Ends have changed, obviously, with the delay and everything over the last year or so. And David Gordon Green has said this, that he's been revising certain things. So I think the way the book ends, which I said Monday night, spoiler alert, but it's more of a to be continued moment, in my opinion. But all that being said, the exciting news we got is that extended cut of the film with that additional ending, and who knows if anything else is going to be put back into the extended cut or if it's just going to be that added ending. We know that We've learned recently that Nick Castle did, in fact, film an on-screen cameo that was not used in the theatrical cut. Will stuff like that be reinserted back in here? We don't know at this time. But we do know when we're going to be able to see the extended cut now, and it's not too far off. It's really exactly 1 month off, to be exact. On Monday, that's right, they're doing us a solid and dropping it on Michael Myers Monday, you guys. Michael Myers Monday, December the 13th. Halloween Kills Extended Cut will be available to stream on Amazon Digital. I'm assuming it's probably going to become available on other streaming services at the same time. You can see right here, though, the Amazon listing, and you can find that direct link to this listing at HalloweenDailyNews.com, of course. But no runtime is listed, so no way to know how extended it is. I don't imagine there's going to be much more than that extra scene at the end. And I do expect, I mean, it's pretty assumed, especially considering David Gordon Green said that it would be on the DVD, that will be available in physical form as well, but not until January. This, though, is coming right before the Christmas and New Year's holidays. Again, dropping on December 13th. Very interesting that is a Monday, a Michael Myers Monday. So I hear you, Universal. Appreciate you. And we also know, thanks to Best Buy, that Best Buy is releasing a Steelbook exclusive, and it'll include the 4K, the film in 4K, Ultra HD, as well as Blu-ray and DVD. That is coming 1 month after that extended cut digital release. That will drop on January 11th, 2022. Now, here you can see the artwork that is available on Best Buy's website. We've got links to where you can pre-order this right now. Again, the release date listed on Best Buy is January 11th. We've not seen that confirmed for the standard non-steel box, non-Best Buy exclusives, but I'm going to go ahead and say that will be the date that all the physical discs will become available. DVD, Blu-ray, 4K, and this Best Buy exclusive. That is exactly when the 2018 film was released, was mid-January of the following year. And that makes perfect sense that they would want to drop the extended cut on digital services earlier. Now, what is interesting here, of course, this is limited edition steelbook, but there's no mention on this packaging of an extended cut. So it's unknown if they're going to come in different, the two cuts, the theatrical cut and the extended cut will be available separately. If they're going to hold off on releasing the extended cut for a little while and try to drive up the digital sales, all that's unknown right now. But again, David Gordon Green said that he expected the extended cut to come to the DVD. So I would imagine that any physical release is going to include that. However, this packaging, you would think it would indicate that, if so. The artwork here is interesting because it's none of these images are actual images from the film itself, the theatrical cut anyway. That cover image is an awesome, badass image of Michael, but that is, if you remember, that is from the Empire magazine, a promo image, not actually from the film, and that back cover as well. Michael kind of standing there under a street light, it looks like. Not a shot from the film. And the inside art with Laurie Strode walking with purpose in Haddonfield Memorial. That particular scene, not in the film, as far as I know. In fact, I believe that's from some of this deleted material that we're talking about, that we're assuming will be reinserted into this extended cut. So, all very interesting how this is going to play out. But I would love to hear from you guys. What are you going to be purchasing? Are you going to buy that extended cut digital version right away on the digital on the day? Are you going to get the physical as well? Are you going to hold off and do one or the other? I really hope they don't make us buy both versions separately. That's been my one kind of preference and hope, is that they include both the theatrical and extended cut in any purchase. Art wants it to be 2.5 hours. A man can dream, he says. That's right. Yeah, a man can dream. Yeah, I like the red of the uh, of the steel book, like you said. I mean, the cover looks cool. The cover art definitely looks cool. I love that image when it was first released. Art says digital, yes, he's getting it right away. Fall Guys says going to try to hold out for the 4K. Phil Walsh has checked in, pre-ordered the Best Buy version. Very cool. Now, again, I've not seen a physical release listed for pre-order on Amazon as of yet. We're going to keep checking, and but Trancas did confirm this extended cut arriving on December 13th because they reposted the Bloody Disgusting article with that info in it. So we'll take that as confirmation for the December 13th. And again, that January 11th, that makes perfect sense for everything to be released physically at that date too. Now, in related news, earlier this week, some new comments surfaced from a recent interview that David Gordon Green did with, speaking of Empire, the Empire Spoiler Special podcast. And we talked again about this part on Monday night, but we just want to mention it again here in case you missed that. Some interesting new comments about Halloween Ends. Here's what David Gordon Green says. Quote, "There's not a lot of games in it. There's not a lot of wittiness and retro joy. It's kind of a coming of age film, and it's a very different tone. And that's what excited me about it, is to have the 3 chapters that I've been involved in be very different from each other. They are all there to honor Carpenter, but aren't necessarily emulating him." Then David goes on to state, quote, "I sent Carpenter the new draft of Halloween Ends the other night, and I said, if it feels too Christine, let me know. For Halloween Ends, it's just a love of Carpenter, you know? It's more than just, hey, here's a character in a community that you've created. It's, here's an appreciation of your legendary body of work." Now, I don't know about you guys, but those quotes get me very excited. I love that they brought Carpenter in to do the music for these most recent films. I love that he agreed to do it. That's definitely been one of the absolute undisputed highlights of these films, is the Carpenter music. The fact that David Gordon Green is saying that this next film, Halloween Ends, is going to honor Carpenter's legendary body of work, an appreciation of his legendary body of work, that gets me very excited. The mention of Christine is very interesting too, and it makes me wonder, is he talking more stylistically, film-wise? I mentioned Monday night that it could be, my immediate thoughts about the coming of age is that must be referring to Allison and perhaps her relationship with the Shape, aka Michael Myers, thematically with the trauma of that night in 2018 in general. Maybe that is in some ways her version of Christine, if she is the Ernie character in this analogy of Christine. And then again, it could just be David Gordon Green messing with us all. And we're not going to see any of Christine in it. But what do you guys think about these comments? I know we talked about it at length on Monday night, so I'm not going to spend too much time tonight. But please chime in the comments. Does this get you more excited for Halloween Ends? I know it does me. More Carpenter influences. He says less retro joy, less wittiness. I mean, I like the retro joy. Don't get me wrong. I love the retro joy. I was very joyous at the retro 1978 flashbacks in Halloween Kills. And I like the wittiness. I don't mind that. But this sounds like it's going to be a different tone, which I welcome. And it also sounds, well, we know that it's going to be a more intimate film. Malika Todd, David Gordon Green, they have said this since before HK came out. So, and it's kind of got to be, because short of introducing a whole lot of new characters, all the established characters in this canon, most of them are not around in this film, which we do know now takes place 4 years after the events of 2018, so taking place in real time in October of 2022. You can find out everything we know about Halloween Ends anytime at HalloweenDailyNews.com. What do you guys think about these comments? All right, let's see what you guys are saying in here. Phil says a love letter to Carpenter's films and Halloween Kills is exciting. I think the Christine reference is Green throwing us off base. Probably that could very easily be. In the interview that I'm going to officially be announcing and revealing in just a little bit, that actor has worked with David Gordon Green a couple of times and told us that Green does like to he'll play some jokes on people. He likes to be funny, and I think we've seen that. I think I said this on Monday night that I wouldn't take these comments too to heart. I mean, I don't think. I think he's certainly aware that people like us are gonna dissect every word he says about this film, but I think he also is not letting that keep him up at night and worry about the fact that the things he says might just be throwing us off and messing with us a little bit. So I think there's a very, very good possibility of that. Fall Guy says, if Ends doesn't end with a burning Michael falling into a combine and being liquefied, I can't trust that he won't be back. Nice. Art's excited. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, those comments about Carpenter, I mean, you guys that watch me regularly know I've said it many times during other live streams. Carpenter's my personal favorite filmmaker. And so yeah, if it's more Carpenter love and more Carpenter stylistically, references to his film in some ways, even if it's not like visual Easter eggs, but maybe again just some stylistic Carpenter tricks, which we've seen some of in these films. But if there's a lot more of that, then please, yes, bring that on. Okay, the big story this week, though, the biggest ongoing story, is Hocus Pocus 2. This has been insanely rumored and hoped for and prayed for some people. event for years now, and it was announced quite a while ago, and there was a few false starts, but it's finally happening. It is actually filming right now as we speak in Rhode Island, in Newport, Rhode Island. There's a ton of set photos that are just lighting up the social media networks right now. Um, and it looks great, honestly. I mean, it's got all of the Hallosphere, that Halloween atmosphere that I love so much and that we all want a movie like this to have. They're definitely leaning in to the Halloween aspect heavily from what we can see from the set photos, which is, of course, what we want. And it looks great. And it's all culminated today with the first official image from the film. Again, not necessarily from the film itself, but the first promo image. And of course, it features our returning stars, Bette Midler, Kathy Najimy, and Sarah Jessica Parker, reprising their roles as the Sanderson sisters. These are the three witches from the original film, witches of the 1600s, resurrected by accident in modern day Salem, and on Halloween night, of course. And all kinds of hilarious havoc ensues. And a very similar plot is going to be taking place in the sequel. Obviously, they're going to be brought back. So here they are, the original actresses in costume as their characters. This was released today throughout social media, part of Disney's Disney Plus Day. I don't know if they've done that before, but I guess November 12th is what they're calling Disney Plus Day. And there was lots of cool reveals and announcements about Disney Plus, and this is what they gave us from Hocus Pocus 2. Now, we knew that they were all on set. We knew that the cast had all arrived, production had begun. I've reported on this the last 2 weeks here on the Halloween show, and we've been following this pretty closely, and we knew that the principal cast had arrived just a few days ago, and they were spotted on set in costume. Their costumes were spotted. I mean, there's been just a ton of set photography posted to social media. We'll be taking a look at a little bit of that here in just a minute. But there they are in all their glory. And they don't look that different from 93, I gotta say. That's definitely them. And this is going to make a whole lot of people really excited. A whole generation grew up on this film, and I myself, I was in high school when it came out, so I didn't discover it and watch it for the first time until many years later. More recently, as a parent, I came to appreciate it, and it's a lot of fun. But this is going to be a huge event for Disney and Disney Plus specifically. It's going to not be playing in theaters, but only on Disney Plus. I think it's going to draw people there, much in the same way that the Marvel series and the Star Wars series that they're producing exclusively for Disney Plus is doing. So it's great to see things finally happening, and it's great to see the Sanderson sisters back. There's also the great Doug Jones is back, playing Billy Butcherson, another legacy actor and legacy character returning from the original. Will any of the other original cast members show up in cameos? I imagine there's a good chance one or two of them probably will. But very happy that Doug Jones is back. And that's the official photo that was released today. If we go over to Instagram, there's been a ton of unofficial set photos that have surfaced. And there's a lot of people posting them, but there's a really great Instagram account that is called Hocus Pocus Guide, and they've done a really good job, actually, of curating these and crediting the people that are sending them the photos and encouraging everybody, to follow all the rules. Don't break into the set and cross the barriers, But if you can safely and by following the rules get some shots, and a lot of people have, much like when they were filming Hubie Halloween 2 years ago in Salem, and there were all those great shots of the Halloween markets and the Hallosphere in that film that were surfacing. It's very much the same here. And so we're going to take a look at just a few of these photos shared once again by the Instagram account Hocus Pocus Guide. I credit them, and they're doing a great job of crediting the actual photographers. But yeah, fans and uh, residents of the area are going there, shooting, and sending their footage. There's the three principals right there, shooting these types of videos and sending them to Hocus Pocus Guide. And it's pretty exciting to see this finally happening as somebody that has been, through HDN covering the development of this film, like I said, for years. To see it finally happening, it's pretty exciting. There has been a ton of images. I mean, a ton that have surfaced just in recent days. There's a haunted trolley. There's been video of this haunted trolley going through town. Spoiler alert, there's a video of Billy Butcherson minus his head running around town at one point we've seen. There's this great shot of a crane. Now, if you know the original movie, you know that the Sanderson sisters perform a musical number at a certain point in the film. It's one of the most memorable parts of the movie. Of course, they're going to do a new version of that. Some new song, but a similar type performance. And you can see there at the bottom, that is the stage that has been set up, presumably for that performance. And there's a giant crane up there. That's another moment in the original film when the witches fly. And so there's going to be some flying, some actual flying. Thankfully, it looks like outdoors and over a real crowd, it appears. And again, a lot of these images were posted just in the last few days. Different settings. That looks really awesome. A dark ride called Ghost Train. Love those old school dark rides as it is. Yeah, I hope the film takes us inside the Ghost Train ride. That would be amazing. Haha, wow, Phil, that's awesome. Phil says, I was in Rhode Island last month and saw the sets being built. Very cool Halloween vibe. Keeping expectations in check, but looking forward to the sequel. Yeah, I mean, definitely keeping expectations in check, but I think they've got a good cast from what I know of them, the ones whose work I've seen. And I think they got the right people behind the scenes. I think it's been in development for so long because Disney did want to get it right. And again, I look at what they're doing on Disney Plus with Star Wars and Marvel, and if they're taking it that serious, then it should be fun. And will it be as good as the original? Or sequels ever as good as the original? But yeah, I'm hoping for another fun family Halloween adventure, more witchy fun. Fall Guy says, hope it has leafy fall atmosphere as well as the decorations. Yeah. Yeah. The fact that they're filming actually in autumn, that's a good move, I think. Like I said, there has been a ton of photos snapped and video, but that gives you just a little bit of the idea. Yeah, it was a big deal just in the last few days when the three main stars arrived on set. And we've even seen a village set up there. That's kind of interesting. Clearly, the town has not forgotten their last visit. There's the old Salem magic shop. I believe that is the Sandersons' house. Now it is the old Salem magic shop, but remember that wheel over there on the side from the original. But yeah, they are recreating some of the scenes from the original, and we've seen shots that look like the film is going to take us back to the 1600s, as the original did for a little while. There's some of the extras in costume. Very cool to see all the extras in costume there. Again, I'm sharing all of this right off of the Hocus Pocus Guide Instagram page. They've done a great job curating all these photos and videos in the last few weeks. The Salem Scarefest, there's that stage, a good look at that stage we were talking about, where you can bet they're going to have the Sanderson sisters up there performing again. There's some of that haunted trolley. And we also know from the cast that in addition to our new young stars of the film, our new 3 young ladies who will play the new modern day leads who accidentally bring the Sanderson sisters back, there's also an even younger generation, 3 cast members who are playing younger versions of each of the witches. So it does make sense that we would go back to the 1600s again and are going to see young versions of the Sanderson sisters. The stage looks great. That's from a few days ago before it was all set up. So yeah, tons and tons and tons of Halloween atmosphere overflowing from the set of Hocus Pocus 2. Loving what I'm seeing so far. Looking forward to the Salem Scarefest. Now, the original film came out in 93, so that is just under 30 years ago. That'll be 29 years ago next year when this comes out. Interesting that this banner here says it's the 27th annual Salem Scarefest happening on October 31st. So clearly that is a event that was started in the town not long after, but definitely after the events of the first film, it sounds like. Ryan Korn has checked in. What's up? Fall Guy says, never saw it as a kid, so don't have the nostalgic attachment, but I do appreciate the Halloween atmosphere in it. Yeah, I didn't see it as a kid myself, so it doesn't, like you said, have the nostalgic element as much for me, but I absolutely am loving the Halloween atmosphere, and I am loving Disney leaning more and more into the Halloweenness of it all. Speaking of which, I don't have a graphic for this one, but also revealed today during Disney Plus Day. I don't know that it was revealed. It was already announced, but the series Moon Knight stars Oscar Isaac. And this is a character, and the reason I bring this up is it's a character that's never been featured in any of the films yet or in live action form. But the series is coming to Disney Plus next year, and there was a bit of a teaser trailer that was kind of leaked online somewhere, and I think the full one is going to be released any day now. But the interesting thing, and the reason I mention this, is that Moon Knight is a character who made his first appearance in the comic books in an issue of Werewolf by Night. Now, if you've been following along, if you're a regular viewer, a regular reader of Halloween Daily News, then you've heard me talk about Werewolf by Night, because this is the character, the title, that is rumored to be the inspiration for Marvel's upcoming Halloween special, which is also going to be airing exclusively on Disney Plus next year. Now, we're calling this the Marvel Werewolf Halloween Special because The Wrap has been reporting that they have exclusive knowledge of the project. It says it's a werewolf main character, very likely based on one of the two or some combination, some amalgamation of the various Werewolf by Night characters from the comics. So, we've got a series of Moon Knight coming. Moon Knight debuted in Werewolf by Night. We've got a Werewolf by Night Halloween special coming, all of it coming to Disney Plus. So I don't think it's a leap at all to say that these are going to tie into each other. One will help launch the other. Very, very easily, you could see that the Moon Knight character could get into some very creepy adventures, and including hunting a werewolf character in October around Halloween time. So we're keeping an eye on both of those projects. Definitely the Halloween special. That's actually how it's been termed on all the reports that we've been following. So no news on that officially today for Disney Plus Day, but with the Moon Knight moving forward and definitely coming next year, one step closer, I believe. Okay, so that's this week's headlines. Feel free to chime in below or in the live chat. Ryan Korn is ready for Hocus Pocus 2. Can't wait. It's a classic. Yeah, the zombie dude in the movie, Billy Butcherson. And yeah, if you didn't hear Ryan, he's back. Doug Jones is playing him once again. The great Doug Jones, the amazing Doug Jones. I'm so happy. I mean, that made me honestly more happy to hear that he's back as Billy than that the Sanderson sisters are back. All due respect to everybody, but I love that because he really has kind of grown in popularity in recent years, and so just such a great character. And Doug Jones, just the best. So I'm very excited for that, and the whole cast is looking good. Larry says, would love to ride that haunted trolley. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Chad says, love all the kills and kills. Yes, definitely. Yes, really. Doug Jones back as Billy Butcherson in Hocus Pocus 2. It's going to be great. It's going to be a big event. We'll be talking more about it as it continues to progress. And, of course, you can find out more anytime, including the full cast that is currently in Rhode Island filming right now. You can find all that anytime at HalloweenDailyNews.com. Okay, before we get to tonight's premiere clip, I want to quickly mention our most recent interview that dropped earlier this week with Rachel Hoffpower. She is Judy Greer's stunt double in Halloween Kills, and we had a clip from her interview last week, and I'm going to play another clip here right now. If you've already seen the interview, it's just a quick clip. It'll take just a few minutes. If you haven't seen it, this is a good preview because it's Rachel talking about going from the acting more into the stunt world and kind of what drives her and why stunts attracted her more than just straight acting. And that's part of her story and part of what I think makes her story awesome. She's totally a badass, as you'll hear in the interview, and as you've heard if you've watched it. And she's got some great stories from the set of Halloween Kills about working with Judy and David Gordon Green and Andy and Jamie and everybody there. James Hugh Courtney, our buddy. So check out this clip, and then we'll be back with tonight's premiere. This is again a bit of my conversation with Rachel Hoffpower about getting into stunt work. So that is interesting. So that is interesting that through the stage acting you found your way into doing more and more of the stage combat, and that led into the film stunt work. So what was it about that? Was it just excitement, or what was it about that part of it that attracted you?
There's just something about like the first time you put a sword in your hand and you're just like, this is really cool. And I still have those moments all the time, like when you're like doing an intense fight scene or learning a new skill and you're just like, this is so cool. And actually I used to say this so when I was at the Lost Colony, which I'm sure we'll talk about soon, I was one of the burning girls, and people would be like, why do you want to get set on fire every night? And I'd be like, because I'm kind of defying God in a way. You know, like I'm doing this thing in a safe way that looks dangerous, and you know, coming out on the end of it. But also because like I'm you know, in my heart not a violent person. Most stunt people that you meet are not. But it's kind of like a fun way to still like play with that side of yourself and of the world. And it's just such a specific and interesting way to tell a story, especially when you get into like how a character fights and why they do certain things and various things. So that's why that's what I think, at least. And, you know, moving into that, there's something also about having something specific that you kind of can specialize in, which is why I think I really got into stage combat, because even in the smallest theaters, it's better to have someone with that kind of knowledge to keep people safe, because people will get hurt if they're not doing these things properly. And it's possible to have a very realistic, visceral, amazing fight scene without people having to get hurt. And so we're all just there to protect each other at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So when you said that you were doing a lot of outdoor historical dramas, was it because of that, I guess, that a lot of them do have more of like the stage combat type stuff, or
not initially?
I
say not initially. I right out of high school, I got an internship at an outdoor theater in West Virginia. It's called Theater West Virginia. They do a show called Hatfields and LaCroix, which is the famous family feud between a family from West Virginia and Kentucky. They also did a story about the founding of West Virginia called Honey in the Rock. And I got this internship, and it was a lot of fun, really intense, because we were being trained in musical theater while also we performed 4 or 5 shows that summer. Was the repertory theater, and that was my first introduction. Well, not my first introduction to stage combat. I'd taken some classes at like theater conferences and such, but my first time seeing it applied, you know, and not just fight scenes, but you know, using the theatrical weapons and and some sort of play, things like that. And I met some awesome people there. This wonderful guy named Jake Gwynn, who's still one of my closest friends here in Atlanta. Met him almost 10 years ago, and his father is a fight master as well. And I started to kind of learn about this world, which I thought was so interesting, but it still took me a couple of years to finally be like, oh, I think I want to do more of this. And so it just kind of came out of like what opportunities were coming to me. And then the following summer, I worked at a different outdoor drama in Ohio called Trumpet in the Land. Then the next one I did was Lost Colony, which was after college. And by that point, I was really seeking out shows where I could, you know, do a little more gritty, you know, fighty, cool stuff like that. So
All right, like I said, you can watch my full interview with Rachel Hoffpower right now here on the Halloween Daily News YouTube channel, and you can also find it at HalloweenDailyNews.com. I encourage you to check it out if you haven't already, and if you have, I appreciate you watching it. She was totally cool to talk to us and to share her experiences with us, and I can't wait to see what she gets into next. I'm telling you, I'm not going to be surprised when she's on the set of a major Marvel Studios movie. We're talking about Marvel, and she loves Marvel. And she actually worked on an episode of WandaVision, and we talked a little bit about that in the interview. And I have no doubt that she's going to be doing stunts and doing her thing on major Marvel movies here any day now, and probably other huge stuff, equally huge stuff as well. So check her out before she gets too big for Halloween Daily News and doesn't have time to talk to us anymore. Awesome that we got her on here. And she's got a great perspective and some great stories to tell from the set of Halloween Kills. So that brings me to our next interview with a Halloween Kills cast member. This one I'm very excited, and this is an exclusive announcement just for you live viewers here tonight. I haven't said this name yet, but we just did the interview just a few hours ago. Today we recorded it, and I had just an awesome conversation with Mr. J. Gavin Wild. And Gavin plays one of the 3 Silver Shamrock trick-or-treaters that come knocking at the Myers house. And of course, they go trick-or-treating, and Big John and Little John are there. And you've seen our interviews. Hopefully by now you've seen our previous interviews with his co-stars, the other trick-or-treaters played by Salem Collins and Giselle Witt. Salem, of course, plays Christy. Giselle plays Mindy, and Gavin plays Dennis. And so we talk all about his experiences working on Halloween Kills. And he's actually been very busy in recent years, and even just here in the last few months. You've probably seen Gavin if you watched the HBO series The Righteous Gemstones. He very memorably played a young Danny McBride, a young Jesse Gemstone, who's Danny McBride's character in the film. He was directed by David Gordon Green in that episode, and David, as we know, as we've heard on many of these interviews, likes to work with people that he's worked with before, and likes to reuse talent, obviously, as most filmmakers do. So they developed a good relationship, and so they've worked together since in Halloween Kills. Gavin also appears in another movie that we've reported on extensively here this year, Bad Candy. And so we also talked about that. That's another Halloween horror film, an indie Halloween horror film that we've been covering here on the site. And I interviewed that film's co-director and co-writer, Scott Hansen, last month as well. So we talked about all that, and if that's not enough, his next film project, the next one we're going to see him in anyway, is The Black Phone. That is an upcoming Blumhouse production from director Scott Derrickson, starring Ethan Hawke. That filmed right where Halloween Kills filmed, in Wilmington, North Carolina, after Halloween Kills shot. And it was very interesting hearing Gavin talk about, being there for the Black Phone on the same lot that just over there is the soundstage where the Myers house was, where he was filming those scenes with the Johns and with the trick-or-treaters at the Myers house. So that full interview is going to be coming next week. It's going to be dropping on Wednesday. You're going to want to tune in this Monday for Michael Myers Monday Live. I'll have an exclusive preview of that interview that we're going to debut that night during that night's live stream. And then on Wednesday, 2 days later, we will have the full interview with J. Gavin Wild on playing Dennis in Halloween Kills, playing Jacob in Bad Candy, playing a character we're all going to meet and sounds like we're going to be very intrigued by, a character named Moose
who is in the upcoming film The Black Phone, and lots more, including his own horror film that he is putting together and he is going to direct. So a very busy, very talented young man, and very cool to talk to. And he's another one that I am very excited to kind of help introduce him to the Halloween franchise fan base, and also to follow his career, because he's doing a lot of cool things, and I think it's going to be fun watching him rise through Hollywood here in the next few years. So look for that. Look for that preview of that interview on Monday night's live stream, Michael Myers Monday Live, 10:31 p.m. Monday night. Then you can look for the full interview dropping 2 days later, next Wednesday. Now, next Tuesday, Terrifier Tuesday. We're celebrating Terrifier Tuesday with the premiere of our exclusive footage from Haunted Screams Expo, specifically the Q&A with David Howard Thornton. David, of course, plays Art the Clown in Terrifier and the highly, highly anticipated sequel, Terrifier 2. Now, no official release date has been announced for Terrifier 2 yet. I can tell you from what I'm hearing, look for it in 2022. T2 2022. T2 in 2022. Terrifier 2. I think it's going to happen next year, and that's another one, it's going to be huge. Next year is just going to be a huge year for Halloween entertainment in general, specifically in film. And so here, what I'm going to do right now, this is a world premiere clip from that Q&A at Haunted Screams Expo. The event took place back in September, and we're just now starting to roll out our coverage from that event. We're going to have full photo galleries, as well as event walkthrough, convention floor walkthrough, cosplay highlights, vendor highlights. There were costume contests, special effects makeup contests, and we've got footage of all of that, as well as exclusive interviews with the winners and some of the contestants of those contests. All that is coming, and lots of Q&A highlights from the various panels, including a Halloween 2007 panel, a panel with Ken Scoes of Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, and lots more. So that's all coming here, starting here in the next few days. But we're going to start it right here tonight with this world premiere clip. This is David Howard Thornton, Art the Clown himself, talking just a little bit about what inspired him to start acting and performing in the first place, and then a little bit about his creation and what goes into his performance and his portrayal of Art the Clown. Check it out.
My aunt gifted me a box set of Mr. Bean videos, and I loved those so much, and I just sat there and I would just watch them over and over and over. I was basically wearing out the tapes, and that's how I learned, and I was like, I want to do this kind of humor. And I started doing a lot of community theater with children, a lot of children's theater, and kids love the physical comedy, so that's where I was able to fine-tune my skills doing physical comedy. And I was very fortunate later on to do 5 national tours with How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the musical. And our Grinch in that, who I understudied, was the wonderfully talented Stephen Carl, who some people might remember from the show Lazy Town. He was Robbie Rotten. And Stephen was a master of physical comedy, so he was able to really take me under his wing and really help me fine-tune my skills. And so a lot of what I do with art, I learned from Stefan, and I would have moments on set like, okay, how would Stefan approach this scene? I'm like, oh, I know what I'm going to do, and I'll just do some weird Stefan stuff. So I had my what would Stefan do moments, I like to call them.
Nice.
Yeah.
So when I watch Terrifier, and I've seen it plenty of times because it's over and over, and I think it's just so funny. It's a great comedy movie.
Oh, yes. A family picture.
Yes, very much so. And if you have children, don't watch it with them.
It's like Disney, but different.
Yes. It's the real Disney.
The grim fairy tale version.
Yes. So, how did watching this and growing up with these characters influence you in your role for Art the Clown?
Well, I put a lot of I put a lot of those inspirations into art. I kind of like blended a lot of things. I took my love of the great, physical comedians, and then I took my love of great villains that came before me, especially the great slasher villains. I kind of look at art as like this. He's like the bastard child of Harpo Marx and Freddy Krueger. And I boiled all that together because there's a little bit of every single slasher icon that came before him in art. I look at him as like the big slasher fanboy. There's a little bit of Mike Myers, Jason, Freddy, of course, Chucky, Pinhead, Leatherface, got Jigsaw. All of that is in art. And that's why I want to do it. It's like, because we made Terrifiers like a love letter to slasher films, and so we have a lot of homages to other slasher films in both Terrifier and Terrifier 2. So that's what I did. I just kind of blended it all together and made my weird own concoction of chaos.
Very interesting. We like controlled chaos, don't we? So, does anybody out here have any questions? All right, we have a fan.
What was the most funnest experience when working on set?
Oh boy, I had a lot of fun on set. You would think such a a bloody, gory movie would be very much a downer, and because we were also shooting in very miserable locations, like that building that we shot in, that big warehouse. We had no heat, no running water, nothing in that building, and it was nasty. Like that bathroom that you see is exactly what that bathroom looked like. That was not us. That was not set dressing. Someone did that to that poor bathroom. Not the one in the pizzeria, but like in the building. Oh boy. Well, you can go on locations, guys, just see the art was here on the wall. You're like, oh, this is great. It stinks, but no.
Finger painting.
But yes, but we had a lot of fun on set, and I would say for me, my favorite scene to film was the pizzeria scene, because I got to do a lot of playing around, and in that building we actually had heat and running water and all that good stuff, so I was very comfortable in there. And I like to play around. And I would say another scene that was a lot of fun for me was the bicycle scene. I think we were all a little bit delirious that day because we were on like our 4th day shooting straight, and we're all just a little at that point, and so there was a lot of silly energy that night, and so I was constantly falling off the bicycle because it's so tiny, and I got these big, huge clown shoes on, and I'm 6'2", and it was an interesting, experiment in physics. And so I like the crash that you see in the movie when I crash into the stairs is a real crash, and they decided to keep that in because they thought it was hysterical. So I think I was going around singing Bicycle Race at one point, just having fun. And those like that all the time. So there's a lot of just shenanigans on both films, and I think that's how we keep our sanity a lot of times.
All right, like I said, you will be able to see that more from that Q&A from Haunted Screams Expo when the full highlight video drops this coming Terrifier Tuesday. Just prior to that, our next live stream will be this Michael Myers Monday, 10:31 p.m. Eastern Time. You can catch a preview of our next exclusive interview with J. Gavin Wild on playing Dennis in Halloween Kills and actually getting to wear the Silver Shamrock skull mask. I actually told him how NECA just released the Ultimate Michael Myers figure, and it comes with his mask, Dennis's bloody mask, and he wasn't aware of that until I told him. So that's one of my favorite parts of the interview. I think you guys are going to love is getting his honest reaction to realizing that the mask that his character wore is now in action figure form. So
be sure to check that out. Again, that's going to be a preview during our live stream on Michael Myers Monday, and lots of other fun stuff, of course. Terrifier Tuesday, we'll have more from David Howard Thornton at that Q&A from Haunted Screams Expo. The following day on Wednesday, Gavin's full interview will drop. That's our full interview with J. Gavin Wild, talking Halloween Kills and Bad Candy and the Black Phone and lots of other good stuff. And lots of other stuff is on the way in the next few days as well, including other highlights from Haunted Screams Expo and showcase videos and so forth. So, if you haven't already, I'd appreciate if you'd subscribe to our channel, and I'd advise that you turn on the notifications so you don't miss any of our live streams like this or any of our other exclusive content that we've got coming your way. All right, guys, that is the show tonight. Chad's talking about the thing. Yes, that live thing with two heads with Sean and Christopher. Of course I watched that. It was great. We did talk about that Monday quite a bit, and some of the revelations and clarifications that Christopher gave us from that. And that was a good time, and those guys are always a blast to watch. So, again, thank you all for joining me tonight. We do the Halloween show every week, and as always, you can find out more about everything I've talked about anytime at HalloweenDailyNews.com. And if you're watching this later on a replay and you've got thoughts and opinions or questions about anything we talked about tonight, I would absolutely love to hear from you. Drop us a line down below in the comments, and we'll answer those questions if we get any on the next episode. All right, guys. Until then, I'm Matt Arts for Halloween Daily News. Thank you for watching.